is then known and was sent to the Trenton Times, the Trenton newspapers, posted on the first floor bulletin board, the City Hall, filed in the City Clerk's office, and posted on the City of Trenton website. Formal action will be taken. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Present.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Present.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kepler.
Present.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Harrison.
Present.
Councilwoman Williams.
Present.
And for the record, Council President Frisbee will be present telephonically for one particular vote. She is excused from this meeting. Thank you. Scott McGill, Assistant Attorney. Present. And Mr. Pelosi. Present. And myself, Brandon Garcia, Mr. Present. Moving on, Madam Vice President, if you'd like, invocation.
Proceed. Thank you.
Certainly. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this, our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. Amen. And Council Vice President, I understand we have a presentation this evening.
Yes, Councilwoman Gonzalez has a presentation to be made.
Understood.
Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to recognize the Rodriguez Family Foundation. The Trenton City Council wishes to recognize the Rodriguez Family Foundation, founded by Jose Rodriguez in 2019. The foundation was created to honor the works and accomplishments of his parents, Reverend Jose and Lydia Rodriguez. Through their example of spiritual servanthood of establishing 60 churches in 49 different countries, the idea of creating an organization that can help civically and locally through several initiatives and partnerships. And whereas the Rodriguez Family Foundation partnered with FEMA, the Homeland Security, Trenton Health Department, New Jersey Governor's Office, and the Pentecostal Church to help 4,000 people get vaccinated. Also created a diversity curriculum for every police officer in New Jersey in collaboration with the Attorney General's office. And whereas the Rodriguez Family Foundation adopted a school in Lights, Puerto Rico, in conjunction with Klockner School in Hamilton to provide school supplies for those impacted by the earthquake in Puerto Rico. And whereas the Rodriguez Family Foundation helped residents through programs including creating a free New Jersey driver's license course, helping over 200 people obtain driver's licenses. Creating Resilient Kids, a parent mentoring program encouraging parents to be more involved in their child's education program. Advocating for formerly incarcerated individuals to have the right to vote. Creating an ESL program designed for Latinos with phonetic issues to learn the English language. And currently in conjunction with VGMC, the foundation is helping to build and secure monitored playgrounds in 5 Latin American countries where children are being abducted and sold into human trafficking. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Trenton City Council wishes to recognize the Rodriguez Family Foundation for their countless efforts in being a positive light in our community and around the world. It is with great honor that I say to Pastor Rodriguez and Ms. Debbie that we appreciate all that you're doing in our community, in the city, for our children, for our parents. You guys are advocates for the immigrants. And I just want to say, I know what you do. You've been doing this for way longer than 2019, but we just felt like you deserve to be recognized. Being that it is Hispanic Heritage Month, I wanted to make sure that we acknowledged you as well. I'm sure many of my
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Gonzalez. Pastor Rodriguez, ma'am, wonderful work you do. I actually met you through Councilwoman Gonzalez and have several of my friends that do attend your church and can bear witness to the great things that you do. And so thank you for everything that you do for the community. Thank you for standing steadfast in the gap and not giving up and for pushing the mission forward for the people. On behalf of our president in her absence, she extends her fondest wishes and congratulations to you as well. And thanks you for the service that you have done and continue to do here in the city of Trenton and beyond. God bless you. Thank you.
Councilman.
Just want to thank you for all the good works that you've been both doing and everyone in your organization to help your fellow man, your fellow woman, and Trentonians, Hamiltonians, everyone you possibly could and beyond. It's important, and I think you've served as a great example to many others that they can do great things to help others in a crisis, and even if there's not a crisis. So thank you so much and congratulations, and I'd like to congratulate and thank my colleague, Councilwoman Gonzalez, for putting this together, because it's important to recognize folks. It really is. Thank you.
You want to say a few words, Pastor? Then we'd like to take a picture with you before we continue.
I want to thank the City Council for acknowledging our foundation. I know that this work that we have done could not have been done without your help and your collaboration. I still think that God is not done with the city of Trenton. We won't give up. I was born and raised in the city of Trenton, so no matter where I go, I am from Trenton. And so I love the city. Our church has been here for 70 years, and with the grace of God, hopefully we'll be here another 70 years. So thank you so much for your acknowledgement. Blessings to you.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
May proceed, thank you.
Sir. Madam Vice President, I believe that's all the presentations we have. Next here listed on our agenda is public comment. This is not for agenda items only, that is a typo. This is for public, this will be public comment. I do apologize for that typo, so.
Thank you.
First person we have for public comment is Mr. Charles Lewis.
For those participating in public comment, just so that you know, you are given 5 minutes to speak. This is not a back and forth dialogue with the public and the council. We will listen. However, we encourage you to stay for our civic comment, because if a council person chooses to address something that you bring across the podium to our attention, they will do it at that time. Thank you.
I'd just like to say good afternoon to the city council. And again, I just want to, before we go any further, I'd like the clerk to present the city council the pictures of the issues we've been going through for the last 3 years. It's my second time around with 198, 196, and 202 Pennington Avenue. I live at 198. So if you look at the pictures and you pass it around while I talk, I'm living in between a jungle lot. So here's another document from the director, Bill Stafford, that was given to me. I said, hey, you can look at the dates. Okay, here's another one from Mr. Jim Beach. I just need you to look at this while I'm talking, so you can see a little gratitude in what I'm talking about. I live at 198. I own this house since 2013. There's some issues at 196, which there were termite issues, which you can look in the pictures at 198. There's been some renovation on the house in regards to the termite issue with 196. Now, 202 Pennington Avenue is even in a worse condition, but it's 2 doors away from where I'm at. So both of them is an issue to me. That's my neighborhood. I'm in between 2 churches, Union Baptist and Antioch Christian Church. The minister just was here last week just to get 198, 196 clean. But my issue is my house. This is being a liability to my property. I done dealt with the termites, and now I got water coming in my house. Already been an inspection on the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor. Okay, they made these 2 properties an imminent threat. Okay? Now, if you look at the dates on these things, I just seen who Mr. Beach is today, but over the last year, I've been reaching out. I don't know who none of these officials are, but this is the only way I can get some latitude that I gotta come down here when I own my house and I'm not behind in my taxes, my water or my sewage, okay? I'm retired from the city and I'm still working. I'm chief engineer at the Hyatt Place in Princeton, New Jersey. But I just here tonight because I want some latitude of my property. I'm getting damage to my property. The inspectors came there, they took pictures of the water coming in my house. Come on now, so I need you guys to help me so I can help you. You understand what I mean? This is ridiculous. This has been going on for 2 years. I understand you need a resolution on this, you need a resolution on that, but I need a resolution. You understand what I'm saying? Because why should I have to live in the city as a taxpayer and have to go through this with my property, which I own? And as you can see the pictures, look at my house and look what's surrounding me. If I choose to sell the house, I can't sell it because I'm dealing with it. I don't want to use up more than my 5 minutes because I think I'm getting my point across. You understand? You know, I'm a minister's son. My father was a preacher, Reverend Lewis. You know, I'm not even going to go into that. I just need the city council right here because I'm not getting anything from anybody else. You understand? I need something done about this property. You're leaving me no other alternative but to take it into another venue. And I'm not threatening, I'm making a promise. Okay? It's a liability to my property. And Mr. Joseph, he knows the last time I was here, when Mr. McBride was the president. You know, everything wasn't moved from the last time I was here. It's in the same position that it is a year ago. How could that be? You know, just things, I wish I could be like a tenant and say, I ain't paying my taxes until the city take care of my issues, but I'm not that petty. You understand? All I'm asking today is that city council can get on whoever they gotta get on to do something with this property. Because when I leave here today, I'm already moving forward. I'm just letting the city know. We shouldn't even get into a legal matter when something could be solved. When you got all these employees and your directors and these people that need departments. I know because I work with the city, the housing authority and the water department. You understand? So this is all I'm asking. This is all I'm asking. I'm at my wit's end because of what's around me. And that's all I have to say. Those documents you can keep because I would look at those houses every day. You looking at them right now, but I see it every day I get off work. When I walk up my steps, I gotta look to the left and look to the right and see this crap. So now you get to understand where I'm coming from. It's not just yesterday, it's been over 3 years. So I hope somebody gonna put forward to try to do what they gotta do. They're waiting for resolution for all this, not just my properties, the other ones in the city. Okay, it's a whole list of them. You got the list right there. I'm not trying to put mine on top of nobody else, but was everyone that listen need to get a resolution? It's a reason why it's on there. And that's all I have to say.
Reverend Kevin Vines Jr.
Good evening to the council present in her absence and to the rest of the council members. My name is Pastor Kevin Vines Jr. I'm the pastor of Victory Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. 285 Hamilton Avenue. Church sits on the corner of Hamilton Avenue and Hudson Street. Our church has been in existence for over 53 years. Prior to us, the building has been there, maybe as old as this building here, late 1800s, early 1800s. I have a serious concern in reference to issuing of permits to allow parades on our street during our church services. These parades are disruptive to our worship, threatening to our safety, and obstructive to our parking. We have not been considered during the planning and entire process of these events. The other day was the worst day I've experienced as a pastor in this city. Most of our members couldn't get to church because our street was blocked. The ones that made it there prior to street closings were forced to park on our sidewalk. The gathering crowd of parade watchers blocked all of our entrances and exits to our church by sitting on our stairs, most of whom were intoxicated. The smell of marijuana blitzed our church service like an invading army. When I went outside, I asked them to please honor and respect our church and move from our entrance and exit stairs where they had gathered with adult beverages and marijuana. I was challenged and threatened. I called the police and was told they are on their way. I'm still waiting to see the police that were on their way. My wife was verbally assaulted and told, since I'm a pastor, I don't curse, but you'll get to what I'm saying. She was told F-U-B, female dog. I had to restrain my son from defending his mother along with myself. This was utter chaos. I called the police a second time and was told to take it up with the city. As a pastor in this city, I'm utterly disgusted with the responses I've received or a lack thereof. I perceive if nothing is done about this, future parades will gender incidents that will not be favorable to anyone. Let the record show that I've complained and now the ball is in your court. Please advise. Regrettably submitted, disgruntled pastor and congregation, Reverend Kevin Vines Jr., Victory Tabernacle, Church of God in Christ. This email was sent last year in September. This year, we've had a parade last month. We had a parade this past Sunday. I sent that email to every official that is on the record for working for the city of Trenton, all the way down to the dog catcher. The only responses I've gotten was take it up with City Hall. When I took it up with City Hall, the response I got was, get the police. When I contacted the police department, the response I got was, it's the recreational department that issues permits. Round and round and round we go. My question today, when is a constitutional right to a freedom of assembly and religious worship ever goes on pause? When is that right as a citizen born and raised in the United States of America taking a back seat? This is my question. No, I don't have any racial tendencies. My mother was born in Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. My father's black. So I have the best of both worlds. So there's nothing to do with ethnicity. It's just the way things are done during our church services. The most important times of the church service, when the word of God is going forth, all we hear is music and
shouting and glass breaking, police turning their eyes, a blind eye, and ignoring our calls. I called the city again. Amen. I'm sorry. I called the city again, and I was told that they never received the email to send it again. I sent the email again, haven't heard anything yet. I'm wondering what is it going to take? Is it going to take somebody? Is it 5 minutes here? All right. Is it going to take somebody to get hurt? What's going to happen? I got a lady with a prosthetic leg that she's 80-something years old. Thank you for your time.
Cordelia Staten.
Good evening, distinguished members of council. I'm Cordelia Staten from 10 Gardner Avenue. Just have a few things I want to talk about before the public hearing later on today. I'm just have some concerns with council's records. When I go to view the minutes for this body, there haven't been any posted or approved since May of 2023. You're 90 days delinquent with your minutes. That is actually not quite criminal, but it is a law that's being broken. I'm sure the clerk will attest to the fact that minutes are supposed to be done in a timely manner and submitted and approved, and you guys are far behind, very far behind. There was an issue a couple of years back when Trenton was deficient in their notices, and it was DCA that actually issued a warning to the city about that, and the clerk was directed to make sure that they got caught up. And it was years, not like these months, but it was years of it's a big issue. So please try to stay on top of that. And the thing about the minutes is not just for the public's record, but it's for your own. You need those records because they show your voting record. Those of you who are attempting to get reelected, you need those records to show where you stood on issues and how you voted, what was your attendance rate, what was your participation. You need those records. You need them as well as the public. So you really should try to get them. They're an important document to all of you who are seeking reelection. The other thing I wanted to speak to was, last time I was here, I talked about some things that were missing from documents, the ordinances that were missing, the authors of it who submitted them. I'm glad to say that that was corrected. I want to thank you for it. Hopefully going forward, that won't be an issue again. And that's all I have on those. Thank you very much.
Edward Forciano.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council. I came here to complain and I guess to make an announcement that I'm basically being forced to file a tort claim and a lawsuit. But I'll kind of explain my situation first. Last year, I did get approved by the State Cannabis Regulatory Commission for a retail license, at least a conditional. One of the conditions is you have to be approved by the city. So that was last year. I have that right here. Since then, because the city hasn't approved my paperwork, I had to file an extension, which they granted. I had to file a second extension, which is still pending. My first extension ends November 12th. So to me, it's getting kind of close here. And I'd like to say this, like I love this city. You know, I've had problems in the past, and most of them have gone away, and I'm kind of happy, you know. In 2007, I moved to California so that I could open a dispensary, and this, that, and the other, and it all happened. Everything happened. I had my dream come true, and then in 2013, the US DEA wiped me out and sent me packing back to New Jersey. I'm from Sicklerville, New Jersey, so when I first got back to Sicklerville, I was recovering from bone cancer too. But once I recovered, I came to Trenton, and I liked it. Found a spot across the street from the city, and you know, I think I was a little ahead of my time. I knew it was coming. I knew what was coming. I experienced it in California, so I felt like I was in a perfect spot. And you know, nowadays, people like me aren't considered drug dealers anymore. We're businessmen. I think I've been pretty good at it. I bought the building across the street because the city and the regulations say, you know, it's best to own the building, freestanding building. I bought the 2 buildings across the street, my bad. I've renovated them extensively. When the city said that they were issuing licenses, there were a lot of people that didn't even think I was going to apply. They didn't think I was going to rogue it, but I did. I hired a lawyer. I paid everything I was supposed to pay. The city, the state, like I said, granted me my conditional license. The city is just stalled. And I've gotten different answers from different people. You know, if I have an attitude, then I'm wrong. So I kind of keep my attitude to myself lately, and I just ask. And each time I ask, I get a different answer. But I feel like I've spent like over $1 million trying to get this done. And now I'm watching, not only is my paperwork stalled, I was told there was supposed to be only 2 dispensaries in each ward. I think the city is already, while I was stalled, and I was one of the first ones to apply, but I think the city's already issued 1 license in my ward. And I'm not dry snitching here, but there's like 5 or 6 other people that are now opening up. And I feel like I was one of the first ones here, and if someone else gets awarded, and I've been here since 2015, you know, then I will be in violation of the 2 requirement. You know, when I was here first, when I've done everything I could to be legal, when, you know, I'm famous for being illegal, and I've done everything I could to be legal, and I'm just stalled, and there's nobody to talk to. You know, I've complained about certain things, you know, then there goes Weak Man again. You know, I'm not trying to be that way. You know, I hired a lawyer, and my intention is that this isn't resolved, like, at least by November the 12th, I have to file a suit, and I think I'm being forced to file a suit, because I think I've done everything right. Even the city said a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that there can only be 2 in each ward, and they had to be 1,000 feet apart from each other. I was like, oh, let me hurry up and be one of them guys, you know, and I did it. But now, there's at least 2 of them within 1,000 feet of me. And again, to be honest with you, I'm cool with competition. I mean, right across the street from Burger King is McDonald's. Right across the street from McDonald's is Taco Bell. So I'm actually cool with competition. But if it's a free-for-all, then let me know. I'll stop trying to be the legal businessman, and I'll go rogue and do the things I'm capable of doing. But I'm trying to be legal, I'm trying to follow the rules, but I'm stuck in limbo. And I think City Council should be aware of it. City Council should be understanding of the reasons why I'm filing a tort claim. I mean, I came here 8 years ago, and I actually fell in love with the city. I'm from Sickerville. But anyway, I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President, I have no other individuals listed for public comment. For which the church will go yes. Because it's open.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Madam Vice President, you want to ask for a motion to approve communications?
Mr. Clerk?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Getting used to this whole, not using our system.
There we
Is
go.
everybody able to hear me now? Sorry about that.
I have a motion to approve communications.
Second.
Councilwoman Edwards?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And all commissions that serve the city, that there's adequate support for these volunteers to do their duty. We have a lot of commissions and boards now that have people, and some of the members have been discouraged because there hasn't been enough support from City Hall. So I'm hoping that this one will get the support that's needed, because it truly is an excellent commission to serve the people. Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam Vice President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
Yes, may I have a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 23-053, an ordinance continuing certain positions, fixing salary ranges, therefore, and setting forth certain regulations for the implementation of these ranges. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam Vice President, if you wish to ask for a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 23-054, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property identified on the city tax map as 528 Lamberton Street, Block 10308, Lot 13, pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13B5 to Nicole K. Nolan for the sum of $2,850. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam Vice President, if you wish to ask for a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 23-055, ordinance amending Chapter 42 of the Code of the City of Trenton to adjust construction and inspection fees. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam Vice President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 23-056, an ordinance establishing and amending the salaries and compensation of the Trenton City Council. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak to this ordinance at this time?
My name is Cordelia Sting, and I am in opposition of this ordinance. There's a couple of things I want to give to the council to consider. One is that I did some research on the per capita income on the different neighborhoods that you represent.
Sure.
In South Trenton, the per capita income is $20,727. It's based on bestneighborhoods.org. In Villa Park, the per capita income is $24,737. Top Road, which is up by South Olden and Brunswick, you know what I'm talking about? Polish kind of area, you know what I mean, by the circle. All right, the per capita is $21,842. In Chambersburg, the per capita income is $27.49. In North Trenton, the per capita income is $23,350. In Cadwalder, Hillcrest, my area, the per capita is $27,492. And in Central West, it is $23,143. To ask for a $30,000 salary for a part-time job is unconscionable. You ran to serve the people, the poor people. You can't serve the rich. And I am telling you, this salary is outrageous. And I understand new times or whatever, and I know you said the council hasn't had a raise since 2006, but you haven't served since 2006. You guys don't even have a year in yet. You knew the salary when you ran and you agreed to it. It's just too much of a leap, and I'm gonna tell you another reason why that is. I did a research of the surrounding municipalities to see what their council people are making. They're all part-time like you. In Lawrence, the salary is $12,000. In Hamilton, it's $14,000 with $15,000 to the president. In Ewing Township, it's $10,000, $12,000 to the president. And in Princeton, it's $12,000. Hamilton Township, I'm going to use especially because it's so wealthy with all this economic development that's going on. A big difference from what the city we're doing. And like I said, their council people are getting $14,000. You want double that. I would just need you to really do your homework again, come back with something else. Maybe, I know I talked to you guys about doing it in increments. I showed you a sample from the council. I think in 16 we tried to do it. But $70,000 at this point, at this juncture in the city, we could be using that for another inspector who could maybe tackle the quality of life issues that people come and tell you about every week. Or you could have an inspector for inspections who could maybe knock off some of the backlog in inspections and encourage more people to do legal construction and building in the city, because of the backlog for people to get their permits, and I'm sure you've heard this, a lot of people just make those renovations and things to their homes. They don't even go through us because we take too long. We take too long because they say we don't have manpower. This is something, if there's $70 somewhere, use it for an inspector. But salaries, not at this time, not at this time. None of you have cleared 10 months yet. It's just not something that I support. And I'm just asking you again to reconsider this particular ordinance until a better time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam Vice President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I have one quick question just before I move. Mr. Garcia, I don't have it in front of me, but I just want to make sure the changes were made to the voting. It was a mistake on it,
They were made on the original.
so we changed it. Okay. I'm going to say no.
Councilman Harrison.
No.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
And that motion carries. Moving on to resolutions. We have the consent agenda. Resolutions 23-411, 413, 414, 415, 416, 417, 419, 420, 422. Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve that consent agenda.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to roll call resolutions. Resolution 23-412, resolution authorizing settlement of the civil action in the matter of Jorge Tapia versus the city of Trenton in the amount of $300,000.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Recused?
Noted. Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Resolution 23-418, resolution authorizing the contract awarded to 22nd Century Technologies, Inc. for 5 temporary staffing positions for Trenton Waterworks, awarded through New Jersey State Contract Number M-2001-GNSBI-35293, in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for a period of 6 months.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Madam Vice President, we have the ordinances for first reading. As I understand it, we have Council President would like to be present telephonically for the vote on this particular ordinance. So if you'll bear with me a moment, I'm going to make that roll call. Excuse me, Council Vice President, we do have another resolution here which will walk on, and that is in front of you. That is Resolution 23-423, resolution authorizing the donation of surplus fire and safety equipment, used firefighter equipment that are no longer used by the Trenton Department of Fire and Emergency Services as per the National Fire Protection Agency in the United States of America. That is Resolution 23-423. If you want to ask for a motion to approve that resolution.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Madam Vice President, if you'll bear with me for one moment.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Madam President, how are you? I too am blessed, healthy, and excited, and I have you here on speakerphone along with council, and I have you present here telephonically for the vote for ordinance 23-057, and I'll go ahead and announce that ordinance now. It is an ordinance amending and supplementing Trenton Municipal Section 8316, Rules of Council. Madam Vice President, if you want to ask for, if you want to ask for a motion to approve that resolution.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you. I'll go ahead through that roll call vote now. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Bridgman. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. I believe that was the only one that you wish to be present for at this time. We thank you very much, and we'll go ahead with the rest of the meeting now. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Now we move to ordinance 23-058, ordinance amending section 10-5H2 of the municipal code, alcoholic beverages of the city of Trenton to exempt the entertainment districts within the city of Trenton from certain restrictions of alcohol sales and create restaurant rows. Madam Vice President, can I ask for a motion to approve?
May I have a motion to approve?
So.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Madam Vice President, I have no more items on the agenda. We're moving on to civic comments. and it's your will. You can start with whomever you like.
Thank you. Councilwoman Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's always great to see your faces and new faces. Welcome. I want to start off by addressing the gentleman at 198 Pennington Avenue. We will definitely look into the issues that you're facing. I don't see him anymore, but I definitely want to follow up with the administration on addressing the issues that he's been trying to fix for the last 3 years. No one absolutely does not deserve to live next door to such blighted conditions, and no homeowner should have to suffer the repercussions of repairing the damages caused by these abandoned properties. So this is something that is definitely at the top of all of our agendas, quite frankly, and we're going to do our best to make sure we resolve this matter in a timely fashion. Pastor, I definitely agree that you should have been deeply considered in the planning of these parades, and your time there in your congregation should have been considered in the planning. And the police department is the appropriate department that handles those things. It's not the Parks and Recreations, though they work in tandem to organize these things with the organizations that are planning these parades, and they should have ensured that you had access to your building. And I'm sorry that you had to endure, especially your wife and your son, had to endure such derogatory feedback from the guests of that festival. That should have never happened. So I apologize on behalf of the city, and hopefully we can address this and prevent this in the future, because your church is definitely one of the pillars that holds our city up. Next, I want to, Mr. Fortune. I'm definitely going to follow up with our Cannabis Advisory Board to see what the big holdup is on your application. That's definitely unacceptable. I'm not sure what is causing the delay, but we'll certainly follow up with them to get to the bottom of it so that we can get this moving forward. You give back a lot in the city. It might not be as known, but NJ Weedman, aka Ed Fortune, does so into our community a lot and gives back to our city. And he does not have to be in Trenton. He's not a native to Trenton, but holds us near and dear and does his part in our community. And I would love to see you stay. I would love to see your business thrive, because it is a part of our economy. And lastly, I'm very, very happy that the council president and vice president was able to work out their differences. I know that, some of you were here at a prior meeting and some things came out, but this council is unlike any council you have ever seen before. It wasn't just the last council. It was a few councils before them that literally got into fist blows on this dais and behind closed doors. This council will never come to that. This council will never come to arguments. We may disagree on a lot of things, but it is always respectful, always respectful. So I want to commend my colleagues for handling it in the most gracious way that they possibly could, and resolving their issues and getting such a tremendous, ordinance passed to share their duties in our docket review, as they both came to an understanding that leadership requires collaboration. So I appreciate that wholeheartedly, and I'm glad that we can move forward in tandem and peace and harmony. So that's my comments for today. And gentle reminder, there is a peace walk. I'm sorry, I should have had it up on Sunday. At what time? At 1 o'clock. From various wards, from Greg Grant Park, from Father Rocco Park, from the corner of Liberty and Broad Street, and from, somebody tell me, West Ward, Parkside, and, okay, and again, Parkside and West State Street, and all 4 marches will be meeting at Middle Hill Park in unity, and we're going to be speaking about gun violence. We're going to memorialize our most recent gun violence victims, and we ask that you join us. If you cannot walk that distance than meet us at Mill Hill Park. Thank you and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg.
Good evening, everybody. So I have a few comments tonight. One, I want to say, I want to shout out my fellow councilwoman Williams. We did a street sweeping initiative in the South and North wards this past Wednesday. A lot of people did participate. Thank you to Public Works for putting out flyers to the homes. The vehicles moved on opposite sides of the streets. Like I said, some cooperated, some didn't. You know, we get a lot of people saying, what about the street sweepers? What about this? What about that? And when we make the initiatives to make things happen, you know, we get some pushback sometimes. So, you know, we have to kind of come to terms as to what we want for our city. You know, do we want better? And if we want better, we have to cooperate in those things. So I'm really happy to announce we're doing another street sweeping of some of these streets in the South and North Ward next Wednesday as well, and flyers will go out. So shout out to Public Works for making that happen. Thank you so much. Also, there's been a lot of requests for speed bumps throughout my ward, Lamberton Street, Grand Street, Hills Place, and every time that they are requested, you know, I ask for petitions, petitions are given, and then, you know, I put in the request, but everybody needs to understand that there is a study that needs to be conducted when it comes to stop signs, when it comes to, you know, speed bumps and things of that nature. Not every street, not every corner qualifies for a traffic alteration. So just please be patient with those things, but we are putting those requests. We do want the safety of our city. We want the safety for our children, and we are hearing your pleas, but everything is a process. As far as the gentleman talking about the demolition of the properties and the poor upkeep of the properties on either side of him, unfortunately, we are dealing with that blight throughout the city of Trenton all over, and it is problematic. There are many properties that are being put on the demolition list. Again, it's a process. And some properties, you know, they want to maintain, they want to restore, they look at the structures. Hopefully we can be better moving forward as we get better in our budgeting, as we get better with everything moving forward on this council, that we can make these things happen quicker. And to that point, I also want to thank Parks and Recreation. They have been doing an excellent job trimming our trees, cutting down some of the trees that have been extremely problematic to our sidewalks, to our water lines, our gas lines, and our streets. So kudos to them. They've been doing an excellent job with that. Parking enforcement has been an issue. We know many people have come before us to talk about ticketing. I know that, you know, some days you get people and they say, well, I have a permit, I want these people without permits to be ticketed, and sometimes you get people say, well, I was ticketed, I should have been ticketed because I've never been ticketed parking there before, and you come and find out that it's a no parking area or something of that nature. Again, we have to be diligent as residents of the city of Trenton, you know, and follow the laws and the ordinances, as we need to be better as a city to enforce these things and to make it known to our residents that these things are now being enforced. They're not new ordinances, they've been in place. I get it, we're kind of spoiled to that point. But also there's been a lot of new parking enforcement individuals hired, and they're learning as well. So, you know, they're making a lot of mistakes along the way. We are pointing them out, and hopefully these things will get rectified. I know that parking is a big issue in the North and the South wards specifically, and in the East ward, and all the wards, but I'm speaking from the South ward. At our Trenton's meeting yesterday, there was talk about voting locations in the wards. A lot of the voting locations have changed, so please go on the county clerk's office and find out in your ward where your new voting location is, so you're not showing up on the day of election and you are now upset because you're in a place and there's no voting there and there's no signs up or whatever and what have you. Please do your due diligence as a resident, as a voter, to learn where your voting location is, and pay attention to the sample ballots that come in the mail. Usually they will tell you exactly where the location is. We want everybody to vote. All votes need to count, and this is a very important election for our school board coming up, and we really want everybody to show out. Other than that, I'm really excited about the sale of properties. These properties have been like laying dormant. Hills Place, Lamberton, I know I'm partial, but you know, I grew up there literally my entire life, so I'm happy to see that these lots of these properties are being sold and people are actually, taking to them and wanting to rehab them. So that's really, really awesome. I want to encourage people to do more of that in the city. Ms. Dayton, I want to speak particularly to you with regards to the salaries because I respect your opinion wholeheartedly. I know, your point that this is a part-time position, but for us, for many of us, it's not a part-time position. Most of us work full-time jobs, and we are literally answering calls 24/7. I have call logs, emails. I'm sending emails out 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm up in the morning, 6 a.m., answering calls. We're writing ordinances and resolutions. And I just think that we didn't come in asking for this. This was money that was told to us, was already set aside for our salaries before we even came on to council. So it wasn't that we came in and said, we need a raise, we need extra money, but I definitely respect your opinion. So thank you, as always. Finally, yes, please join me, South Broad Street and Liberty, 1 p.m. on Sunday, 9/24, and on Saturday, September 23rd, the First Baptist Church, on Center Street, Center and Bridge, from 1 to 5, come out, we have a whole big family day. So come join in and meet your neighbors and just enjoy yourself. Thank you guys so much for coming out and have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Thank you everyone for being present. Couple of things. I just wanted to let Mr. Charles know. I know that I think he's left already, but it was something that I have been following up on about his locations on Pennington Avenue. And the only thing I want to say is I think they're still looking for a contractor because one of those addresses was placed on the list to be demolished. However, I think the frustration comes with the lack of communication. And if we could do a better job from our administration to communicate and give him updates, and everyone on the list, updates. They are expecting the email that was sent within July, and he was told that it would be done next week, and it's like, we're in the end of September, so therefore just no communication brings about frustration. So I think that's where we just need to do a better job at communicating for those individuals who are trying to fight for those blighted homes. As to Pastor Reverend Kevin, I apologize also for you having to deal with the nuisance that you had to deal with. Maybe we can come up with some type of solution where, possibly the organizations must get approval or signature from churches along the routes that they want, or possibly change the days and the time. Maybe we could just work together where they can still be able to celebrate and then also be respectful to the churches that are in our neighborhoods. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you, Ms. Staten, for your comments. I just want to go on the record and state, yes, I know that we work really, really hard. Trust me, it's tiresome. Even though it's a part-time job, we do work full-time. And I am in agreement with us. I do believe we do deserve an increase in salary. I just don't think that at this moment was the right time for that. I just want to also say I'm excited about the restaurant rules. I think that would be the beginning of a thriving downtown, and I'm excited to see that come to fruition. As far as the issues with ticketing, Councilwoman Figueroa-Kettenberg, I understand exactly what you're saying. We want to enforce certain rules, and things haven't been done in so long, but I think we got to do a better job of letting people know that it is going to start, and then also giving proper training to those who are giving tickets, because I was literally just on the phone today for an hour and a half with a resident from 2nd Street who said last night they kind of were harassed by the parking individuals, and police were called, and even they issued 7 tickets and 2 to the same individual in less than 30 minutes because of the argument back and forth. So we got to do a better job at that and training those individuals who are giving those tickets. My colleagues mentioned the Peace Walk that is going on Sunday. I am now going to be walking in North Ward with Councilwoman Jennifer Williams, and we'll be all meeting at Mill Hill, so please come out and support that initiative. And I just want to shout out all of my parents from my class, because tonight is back to school night for the high schoolers, and my principal and everyone is very supportive of me not being there, and I was able to have a dialogue and a special meeting with my parents, so shout out to them. And I think that was all for this evening. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Harrison.
I too would like to talk about the Peace Walk, East Trenton, for locations Greg Grant, Sunday, 1 to 4. Me and Councilwoman Edwards. We're going to be meeting in the park, and hopefully we get a lot of people to show up, be a part of. Gun violence is a problem all over this country, so we all should be united against that. Saturday, there's a cornhole tournament over at the stadium. It's actually the Riverfest too. If you have a cornhole team, I think it's $150 per team to play. They're also, let's see, they're having live music. They're having Trenton Thunder's world famous Case's pork roll. They're having an eating contest there too. So it's another wonderful event. If you can, show up to that. It's Saturday. It's from noon to 5 at the stadium, Thunder Stadium. Starting next week, Monday, they're start the Citizen Police Academy. It's a 10-week commitment. It starts from September 25th for 10 weeks, starting on Monday. Monday starts from 6 to 9 p.m. at Trenton Police Headquarters. Applicants must live in Trenton, must be 21 years of age, express interest in learning about policy. Said the application has to be submitted by tomorrow, 22nd. There's no cost to attend. Please fill out it says applicants must drop it off at the police headquarters, which is 222 North Clinton Avenue, or email Detective Veal at tveal@trentonpolice.net, or Detective Angel Turner at aturner@trentonpolice.net. And that's about it. Everybody have a great evening.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Williams?
Thank you, Council President. Just have some announcements and I want to address some issues. First of all, I'd like to give a fellow shout out to Councilman Figueroa Kettenberg for partnering once again for the North Ward and South Ward to have Public Works. Thank you so much for coming out to clean Center Street, 2nd Street, as well as Lamberton Street. We look forward to come back next week because working together, trying to make our city cleaner, it's going to make it a healthier city for everybody, not just the folks in the north and the south. And also want to thank everyone who attended our North Ward Citizens Police Advisory Council meeting last night. It was a great start. We had a really robust conversation, and Director Wilson was there along with, Director Wilson was there along with Detective Turner and Detective Veal and Mr. Curry Shaw with the street teams, as well as my colleague, Councilwoman Gonzalez. Thank you everyone for being there because it's important to get off to a good start and get a conversation going. Our next meeting will be on October 18th, again at Galilee Baptist Church, 440 Martin Luther King Boulevard. If you can attend it, we'll try to get word out again. Hopefully we'll be able to get more word out to everybody. Regarding the parking issues, we really do need, and my colleagues eloquently said this, we have to find out if this problem is systemic, if it's just training, is it systemic and training, but it's got to get solved soon because we know our parking enforcement officers are out there, they're working hard, but we got to work right. And we want to make sure that our residents are treated fairly, but we need to make sure that our streets are places that everyone can park who lives in the city. A lot of the problem is also with commercial vehicles, and that's something that for decades has been let to go to the side. And it may be surprising that we're enforcing these laws, but we have to do them. Because if we don't improve our quality of life, we don't improve our standard of living here. So one of the things I'd like to just encourage, particularly in Lamberton Street, Center Street, on that part of the North Ward and the South, I'll speak for my colleague, is to make sure that those permits are being looked at. She said it, also my colleague, Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg. We really need to make sure our residents who did the right thing, got their permits, are being respected, and that they have a place to park when they come home from work. Because that's a big complaint, and they deserve that. They're staying a part of the city, they're trying to make the city better, and we don't want to lose residents because they simply can't park near their house. Regarding Mr. Forshin, who just left, I believe, it was disappointing we didn't see his presentation the other night. Hopefully he'll come back. but regarding his concerns about having so many dispensaries in the North Ward, I share those concerns. At this point, we are slated to have 8 in the North Ward, and just from an economic standpoint of competition, that seems excessive. So I'm hoping the city may relook at this and see about placing some of the other dispensaries in other wards, because it's just supply and demand. I mean, you need to have competitors be able to have a space, be able to have an area that they can be the provider of the dispensary in order for them to make money. Otherwise, the way this works out in business school, they'll teach you end up with one kingmaker and a lot of princes and some failed princes, and we don't need that. If this is going to succeed, it's got to succeed for everybody, and we have to make it as fair as possible. I'd also like to address Mr. Woods. I'll be reaching out to him. He's not here. The pictures are very frightening with some of the issues that they're facing, and we will get it done. I know my colleagues will help with that. And we'll make sure that the issues of illegal dumping, the vegetation, and the properties that need to be demolished will get taken care of. So regarding Reverend Byers, I'm sorry for what happened. I know this is an ongoing problem, and we will have a conversation about that, and I am very hopeful we'll be able to find at least some resolution to this, because certainly you, your wife, your son should never have to go through an experience like that, nor should your parishioners. And I believe, at least with the folks who pull a permit or ask for a permit for a parade, I would like to think that they will be amenable to trying to find resolutions. That's been my experience, that we can bring people to a table and have a conversation and find out a good way to make sure everyone feels that they're part of the solution. So I look forward to working with you on that, sir. And that is it. Thank you very much. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Again, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Thank you to those that stayed. Congratulations to the Rodriguez Family Foundation, once again, for the tremendous work that they do in the community. Thank you to Councilwomen Williams and Figueroa Kettenberg for the collaboration of making the recent street sweeping event take place. That's what it's all about, right? The council being a working council, working together to help make the city better. Looking forward to the Peace Walk. I am not moving from one particular location. If I am out and about, I'll be at every location in my car. Yeah. So I'll be moving right along with everyone, cheering them on as they walk. I'll even bring some water for you. I'll be peace driving. Yes, yes. But again, thank you to the two street teams for coming together, right? Again, it's about collaboration and good efforts and people trying to work together to find solutions to help us in our city. Reverend, I'm sorry about what happened with the festival and everything and the oversight about the church. That is something that we would have to look into just to see maybe in the permitting process, right? Who is notified, how, what is the process with that? And possibly we discussed, Councilwoman Evers and I, if it could be amended that if they're going to do that, maybe to be cognizant of the church services in the area to maybe make it later, a little bit later or something like that. So that way we are respectful for those who want to congregate, right, and have service and everything. My colleague spoke about the issue of the abandoned homes. We already know what it is. We need to get these homes taken care of. These things need to be torn down. And people need to live in peace and be able to enjoy their homes. They do pay taxes or they do pay rent. They are there, and we need to respect them in their space. With regards to Mr. Fortune, the NJ Weed Man, hopefully there will be some resolve to that. He is a person who gives back to the community. I can personally attest to the fact that he awards students at Trenton Central High School, those who are looking to be entrepreneurs in whatever venue or area of expertise they want to go into. He has awarded them with financial scholarships and pushes forth for the good efforts of the youth and the community. Even though people may look and say the weed man, he's still a man. And so he's a good man that looks out for the community. So we're looking to see what happened with the paperwork and everything, if it's a matter of formality or if there's something that needs to be done to move things along for him and others that may be affected by whatever is going on here. When it comes to parking, yes, I agree, training needs to be done. I personally have received a ticket from parking enforcement after using the Flowbird app. 20 minutes after paying for a 4-hour time, it was a ticket on the car. And, you know, when we looked into it, the person had not looked to check the app. So now we have a sign in the car that says, please check the Flowbird app, we paid. Shouldn't have to go through all of that, right? But that again goes to show that we need to do a better job in making sure that our staff is trained and prepared. And we do need to do something about these signs around town, permits, teachers can't park places, cars being towed $188 per car because of, you know, lack of communication from the city to tell the people that they're doing work in the areas. We have to do better when it comes to communication. We have to do better when it comes to communication. So, again, I know my colleagues and I feel strongly about administration getting the word out to the people. We just have to find a way. The Foundation Academy, the kids just came here the other night, the National Honor Society. What does Trenton need? They challenged us and told us we need better communication out of the mouths of babes. So we need to move in that fashion and work together to make that happen. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you next time. Mr. Garcia.
Madam Vice President, if you want to ask for a motion to adjourn.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Beautiful. Councilwoman Edwards?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettner? Yes. Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you all.
Good night, everyone.
Good evening.